Welcome to Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. Nick Rice, Hank Cinnamon for a matchup between two of the greatest football teams of all time and two of the greatest signal callers in NFL history. That is Troy Aikman, the Hall of Famer from UCLA, Patrick Mahomes, the all-time great from Texas Tech. It should be a great game between the triplets in Dallas and the Legion of Zoom in Kansas City. Again, Nick Rice and Hank Cinnamon, a crystal clear, beautiful day out of Kansas City. We are underway between the 92 Cowboys and the 19 Chiefs. Hank, that high-powered Kansas City offense takes the field first.
Yeah, the offense of the Kansas City Chiefs has always been really good with Mahomes and Andy Reid as the head coach. We'll see how they rebound from last week's game against the Giants.
Yeah, in 2019, Kansas City went on a remarkable Super Bowl run, but this seems to be almost a mirror image of each other overall, as Dallas went on an insane Super Bowl run in '92 after what they did just the year prior and the team they were a few years ago, and how quickly they rebuilt that under, similar to Andy Reid, a very likable and a very exuberant head coach in Jimmy Johnson.
And I believe the Dallas Cowboys won it in huge blowout fashion with a Leon Lett fumble as well. But the Chiefs, they won this Super Bowl by coming back against the 49ers.
So this is a team, as mentioned, with the triplets of 1992 that featured Hall of Famers at wide receiver and quarterback, Michael Irvin and Troy Aikman. But Emmitt Smith was certainly the catalyst of this team. They were one of the best running games ever in the 90s, and Emmitt Smith is the all-time leading rusher to this day in the National Football League. It seems as though the offense starts and stops with number 22.
And even at the end of his career, the tail end, he just kept those legs churning and helped out teams, even though he was, one might say, way past his prime.
And for Emmitt Smith, in his prime, in his third year out of Florida, Smith rips off a first down run to keep his hot streak going against this just somewhat mediocre defense by greatest team standards. Certainly a unit that left a lot to be desired. Jay Novacek over the post, makes the catch and gains 25. First down, Dallas.
You could say Jay Novacek is kind of a forgotten man in this offense, but he had just as big of a role as the other three. And he definitely shows his role here by catching that post over the middle.
Well, in the annals of all-time great tight ends, Hank, there absolutely is Shannon Sharp, Travis Kelce, these Chiefs, and Rob Gronkowski. But very few remember the impact of a Jay Novacek interception here as they try and fit it in to Darryl Johnston. Damian Wilson for the INT.
And there's another guy who was missing from kind of like this offense.
Well, Travis Kelce, certainly a big cog of this offense, and gains a couple. A brutal interception inside the red zone, and that absolutely changes the complexion of this game early in this one. Kansas City on its next drive after the 3 and out. Here is Mahomes, who avoids a disaster for a gain of 2.
Yes, the Chiefs having the offense here, they are looking to kind of get some points to kind of get off that Giants game from the last week.
Yeah, it was certainly a rough performance. Travis Kelce out of the backfield is near the first down, spilled by the young corner Larry Brown. It's too close to call, so the officials will bring out the chain gang, and they rule he's just a little bit short. A tough break for Kansas City, coming off of its worst offensive performance of the season. Back-to-back 3 and out, and despite the efficient start with 4 for 4 completions, Mahomes and the Chiefs are still searching for their opening first down. Colquitt drives the punt to the 35. Martin breaks a tackle across the 50 and is taken down to the 43, setting up a short field again for the Dallas Cowboys.
And that is something that is frustrating when you think you got a good drive going, but then you have to punt it, and then the opponents end up in your own territory.
And for Dallas, while they do commit an early penalty here, still very much in position to put up at least a field goal here. and it's a good start for them after a slow start each of the last 2 weeks in losses to Carolina and at the Broncos last week. Both clubs come in 2-2. A first down long ball, and this is incomplete in the end zone. Kelvin Martin was the intended target. This is week 5 of the NFL Greatest Team season. Nick Rice and Hank Cinnamon on hand from Arrowhead in Kansas City. 2-2 Cowboys, fresh off of losses both to Carolina and Denver. Kansas City comes into the game 3-1 overall. A short check down thrown from Aikman to Smith sets up 3rd and 13.
And when you think you've got the field ahead of you to score in good field position, you need to get some points, discerning to be 3rd and long in this situation.
Aikman dumps it off to Jay Novacek out of the backfield for a gain of 9, and the Cowboys will bring in Lynn Elliott, a rookie kicker, for a 54-yard go-ahead field goal, plenty of distance. That was a wild one from Elliott, no good. And Dallas goes with its first 2 drives into cheap territory twice, but with a missed field goal and an interception, they have no points to show for it. Kansas City begins its next drive with a run out of the pistol. This is Damian Williams who coughs it up, and the Cowboys recover. Vincent Smith, the veteran linebacker, scoops up the takeaway, a first one for the Chiefs, and Dallas takes over.
Looks like the Chiefs' luck is still not very good in this game, coming off that bad loss to the Giants. Getting a fumble here in a bad situation is just not so good for their offense, not so good for their morale.
And while Kansas City has had plenty of morale with Mahomes this season in that passing game, the Chiefs are among the league's worst on the ground.
Well, when you have Patrick Mahomes at quarterback, it sometimes doesn't matter. You're just passing the ball, and he's such an accurate passer, and he's such a mobile guy that he'll find a guy open usually.
And Kansas City in 2019 was among the league's best in offense just about everywhere, as Alvin Harper gains a couple. But Kansas City's off to a rough start early. They've got to figure out a way to bounce back. So as you mentioned, off of the loss last week, but even in the last few wins, the offense hasn't looked quite as good as we anticipated, as good as they were throughout the course of the 2019 season. Kendall Fuller picks off Troy Aikman, and he is gone. No need for Mahomes when you've got defensive touchdowns, and Kansas City has taken the lead.
Sometimes a big interception for a touchdown is just the medicine that the doctor ordered, as the Chiefs take the lead on that touchdown after the interception.
And after one, the division leaders in the very competitive AFC West, led by Kansas City at 3-1, Oakland, San Diego, and Denver, a couple Super Bowl champions in that mix, all look up at the Chiefs, and they're up 7-0 off of that Kendall Fuller interception. And while the Cowboys have to feel encouraged about their performance on their end of the 50, the problem has been with a miss from Elliott and a turnover thrown to Damian Wilson. This offense just can't seem to capitalize on these promising drives. Another promising start here, Hank, on a gain of 8 from Smith.
Seems like the Cowboys have been able to get in good field position. They've just not been able to capitalize, and that's the biggest part of this game. If these turnovers continue to happen for the Cowboys, then a lot of frustration will occur for their defense, as their offense is just not doing what they need them to do.
Third down, Tommy Agee, the third-string running back, picks up 6 and a first down. That is a 5-year pro from Auburn. While Smith, without a doubt, is their bell cow, Agee moves the chains on a critical job off the bench. A fresh set of downs, 6 minutes into the game, and Aikman's going deep again. He sees a man open, but it is just a bit underthrown to Martin, and Juan Thornhill got a hand on it for the pass deflection.
Great position by the DB. You're just playing jump ball in that situation. You're not sure who's going to get the catch. Great job tipping the ball out of the way.
2nd and 10, and here's Smith off the counter. He weaves his way through traffic and picks up the first down. Damian Wilson, the 5-year middle backer out of Minnesota, finally trips him up, but Emmitt Smith has got something going in the first half. Kervin Richards, another backup, gets the call and gains about a yard. Darren Lee makes the stop.
Sometimes the best thing for a good running back and offense is a backup player who can come in reserve for that starter. Seems like that's what the Cowboys might need if Emmitt Smith gets a little tired.
Well, you certainly can't blame him. He's gotten a much-deserved rest in the middle of this drive, but checks in to flank Aikman on 3rd and 9. He'll release. Aikman looks right and goes long. That is tipped away from Irvin and incomplete. He has been a big proponent of this offense early. That's Michael Irvin, the Hall of Fame wideout, but that one's knocked away by Bashaud Breeland, and the Cowboy punt soars inside the 10. It bounces into the end zone and is a touchback for Kansas City. The Chiefs will take over at their own 20. 3:13 to go in a first half led largely by defense. Both quarterbacks have been intercepted, including Troy Aikman, whose pick was brought back for a touchdown by way of Kendall Fuller. Kelsey picks up the first down here. The Cowboys' Mikey Pruitt makes the stop.
We haven't called his name yet, Travis Kelce. Everyone talks about how Tyreek Hill is a great deep threat, but oftentimes a good deep threat needs a guy in the middle who can get yardage in the zone, and that's the exact guy that Travis Kelce is.
A real chain mover and a absolute safety valve for Patrick Mahomes. LaShawn McCoy, pretty good safety valve too, out of the backfield of the 47 on a gain of 15. And while Patrick Mahomes has got a rocket for an arm, what made him so lethal was that accuracy you talked about earlier, Hank, and he finds his running back for the 15-yard gain. Fresh set of downs to the 47. He goes short again, and Robinson gains 5.
Yeah, so with the Andy Reid type offense really relying on these checkdowns, these short passing games of the West Coast offense really complements Patrick Mahomes' arm strength and his ability to move the ball down the field quickly.
And that was what made Patrick Mahomes one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the league. The screen and short game that you brought up, and also those running backs that were every bit as receivers as they were really running backs in an old school offense. Travis Kelce spins away for the first down on a gain of 12. Well, this guy, Travis Kelce, could fit in just about any offense, and he keeps the chains moving for Kansas City. From the 30, Mahomes looks his way again, fires deep to Travis Kelce, who's in for the touchdown.
Always the reliable safety valve is Travis Kelce. He can find the end zone in just about any position, whether it be catching the ball deep, catching the ball out of the backfield, catching the ball on a pitch. He can do it all.
Well, he arguably is the greatest tight end of all time. Certainly receiving-wise, he's got to be. Alexander Wright with a great return here on the right sideline to the 45, setting up a short field. We've got a good tight end to the other end, Jay Novacek, but absolutely you can put him top 3, top 5, but Travis Kelce is in that conversation for the GOAT at the tight end position. Aikman looks left, and his short pass is complete to one of the best Cowboy tight ends ever. That's Novacek to the 43, first down Dallas.
Yeah, I think Witten's got him a little bit on the totem pole because he's a future Hall of Famer, but Novacek did his job with the Cowboys, and the 3 Super Bowl rings definitely matches his contribution.
Yeah, he was an all-around great tight end. Certainly has to be in discussion for his maybe a bit better blocker than Travis Kelce. Another big pass, and Michael Irvin gets involved. 28 yards on the catch. First down to Michael with just over a minute left. Aikman fires to Irvin in the end zone. A rare drop. Incomplete to Michael.
Yeah, you got to catch that ball if you're a future Hall of Famer in Michael Irvin. Ball's right in his hand. Got to have those strong hands so that the ball doesn't pop out like it did right there.
Maybe Aikman's worst start to a game all year. One of the worst of his career, it's got to be, with 2 early interceptions. But on 3rd and 6, his offense is it deep in the red zone. Smith gets the call and is down to the 2-yard line. The touchdown-saving tackle from Pro Bowler Frank Clark. And off of the timeout from Jimmy Johnson, Dallas is 2 yards away from the end zone, so they'll lean on Emmitt Smith, who goes over the top for the touchdown.
If it's working for you now, it'll work for you later. Why not give it to the guy who's been working for you this whole game?
And the Cowboys lean on the services of their Hall of Fame back, who scores his 4th rushing touchdown of the young season. The 2-2 Cowboys of 1992, the 3-1 Chiefs of 2019. Mecole Hardman gets rocked at the 24-yard line by, ironically, the kicker, Lynn Elliott, and the Chiefs take over with 3 timeouts and 49 seconds.
I'm interested to see what Patrick Mahomes can do here. We saw what he did in that Buffalo Bills playoff game where he had 13 seconds and 3 timeouts, and they made it all the way down the field to kick the field goal to make it to overtime. He's definitely a guy I don't want the ball to be in his hands in any situation.
Absolutely. Well, I think the Cowboys are getting that wish. Back-to-back running plays sets up a 3rd and short for Kansas City. They burn a couple of timeouts and better be careful. They don't convert this. Dallas gets the ball back. They'll go run with Williams, and he is denied. Dallas burns a timeout. It's a 3-and-out for the offense.
You can't have that conservative approach inside 1 minute with 3 timeouts. Andy Reid is a very good coach, but sometimes he has questionable decisions inside 2 minutes. This is one of them.
Absolutely. The Cowboys have been really outplayed most of this game on the road, and they've got a shot to tie it with a touchdown here. They'll go to the ground. Here's Smith out of timeouts, who gains 4, but the Cowboys go no huddle here, and it looks like they'll throw this one with Aikman out of the gun. Indeed, they will. 2nd and 6. Deep to Irvin. He slips a tackle and is 1 hit from Thornhill away from a touchdown.
They got to get to the line quickly to spike it or make some sort of play because they don't have much time left. They got to do a Hail Mary here.
Aikman is looking deep, and he'll take a shot with a flag down. That is incomplete to Harper. It was a bit underthrown, too. Not quite to the end zone. A hold anyways. So Eric Williams commits the penalty. That's declined, and we've hit the half with the Chiefs in front 14-7. Let's quickly check out the heroes of the first half. And without a doubt, Patrick Mahomes, 9 for 9 to begin, has been the best player on the Chiefs today.
Definitely has rebounded after last week and has rebounded after that pick 6. Seems like the Chiefs are back, besides the fact that they were kind of diddling around before halftime.
Yeah, really rough first quarter for that offense. And away we go in the second half here. Nick Rice, Hank Cinnamon from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. Emmitt Smith is stuffed by Clark on a 1-yard loss.
There's a guy we haven't talked about yet, Frank Clark, who's a real mainstay on that Chiefs defense, really making plays, especially last year in the Super Bowl.
Jay Novacek turns the corner, and it appears has picked up the first down. Well, Kansas City brought in Patrick Mahomes, and then Alex Smith had a very short exit following the drafting of Mahomes as he took the league by storm right away. Kansas City immediately became a legendary offense. He set all passing records in Kansas City history, many in the NFL, all-time annals, but they needed some help on defense. And when they acquired Frank Clark and then brought in Tyrann Mathieu out of free agency, all of a sudden this was a balanced football team, and the Chiefs were winning big games and earned their first of 2 Super Bowls in a 4-year period in 2019 against San Francisco. Super Bowl 54 title, and Clark and Mathieu, the 2 big partners on defense to keep that club very balanced in their championship run.
You got to admit, though, Alex Smith wasn't a poor sport about it. He kind of knew that the writing was on the wall in both situations, San Francisco and Kansas City, as they replace him with 2 more dynamic quarterbacks. But he's a great guy in his own respect, and the best to him as well.
Well, Dallas certainly has a steep hill to climb, that is, after this holding penalty on a 3rd and 15 from Roberts. Here comes Troy Aikman under duress, and he is sacked by Jones, another big part of that defense, and that's Dallas forced to punt. Patrick Mahomes, just as you mentioned, brought in with Alex Smith, taking a backseat there, but Smith was the guy, and this certainly can't be overlooked, was a big part of building the culture for that program with Andy Reid in the mid-2010s.
It's kind of weird, though. He came in, Andy Reid did, with a really talented defense, and then he just built the offense to be really good, and they've been great for over a decade.
Williams out of the backfield. First down across the 45, and he is shoved out of the 43. First down, Kansas City, with Patrick Mahomes in the fold. The Chiefs are rolling right now, and Dallas, the team that was the best overall defense in the league in 1992. Here they go, blitzing Casillas with the tackle for loss. This defense is capable of slowing down Mahomes. We'll see if they can do it on this drive. Second and 11, Chiefs.
I'm expecting to see some play action fakes here because they've been running the ball not so effectively, and with the Cowboys possibly playing more guys in the box, you can expect a play action fake to get Tyreek Hill open deep.
Well, they will line up in an I formation here on a 3rd and 11. No play fake, just a regular screen pass. Here's McCoy out of the backfield, and he cannot make the man miss that he needed out of bounds. And you look at those numbers, 11 for 12 will get it done against just about anybody. But the Cowboys are doing a good job of forcing Mahomes to settle for a lot of short throws, and this time it paid off for him as Dustin Colquitt sends this punt out of bounds.
Very interesting that the Cowboys kicked a field goal in that situation and the Chiefs are punting. I think the punting was probably the better idea because you're probably going to miss that field goal anyway.
Yeah, Kansas City's Harrison Butker is a fantastic long field goal kicker. He can certainly hit one from the high 50s or even a 60-yard area, but they're playing the chess game. A 2-yard gain here, and the Cowboys late in the third quarter stuck in neutral most of the game on offense. Here's Martin with the catch, and they face another third down. The Chiefs, Kendall Fuller makes the stop. 3rd and 2. And they'll go with the run. It's a good idea. Emmitt Smith inside picks up 11, and a first down for Dallas as he nears 100 yards on the ground today.
It's amazing that they're down by 7 points in this game even, and they're still electing to run the ball. But Emmitt Smith gives them the best chance to win, and they're definitely getting it done here with that run game.
Well, Dallas with Jimmy Johnson and offensive coordinator Norv Turner, this team is very good on offense, running the ball, and they see a weakness in that defense, and this deep pass from Aikman is incomplete. Kansas City, despite the excellent individual talent up front, they ranked 26th out of 32 teams, so among the worst in the NFL in stopping the run despite winning the title in 2019. And the Cowboys have taken advantage early. Aikman goes deep, and Irvin makes the catch. Thornhill makes the stop. First down, Dallas.
What a beautiful rainbow pass by Troy Aikman all the way to Michael Irvin, his X factor, getting it into good position for the Cowboys to possibly score.
Michael Irvin, 88 yards today in just 5 games of the greatest team season, already 357 yards. One of the best receivers in NFL history, Michael Irvin. With under a minute to go in the third, they'll pitch it, and Kervin Richards is tripped up at the line of scrimmage. It's amazing that Dallas was able to so quickly turn this club into a doormat in the division in the 80s to a championship caliber team, and they won with Aikman, Irvin, and Smith 3 Super Bowls in 4 years. Matthew makes the stop, setting up third down.
Yeah, as impressive as that is, when they all started retiring, the Cowboys were no longer a good team anymore, and they really missed those guys in the end.
Yeah, those 3 guys were so critical to the long-term success and the long-term reputation of this franchise, which still lives to this day. Third quarter comes to a close with this Lynn Elliott field goal off a good hold from Berline. The kick is good. And with just 5 minutes left in this thrilling back-and-forth battle, the 19 Chiefs lead the 92 Cowboys 14-10. And away we go. Start of the fourth quarter with a Lynn Elliott kickoff to DeAnthony Thomas. From the goal line, he'll bring it back to the 29. Kansas City a unit averaging 379 yards per game in their Super Bowl season, held to under 150. Certainly not the sort of production we anticipated for this offense. And on first down, they'll begin the fourth with a Mahomes pass, and he's going deep into traffic, and there is a very quiet Tyreek Hill with his second catch of the game and a Kansas City first down.
Yeah, usually you're expecting some deep shots to the Cheetah, and he really hasn't gotten that many of those in this game because Dallas has a really stout defense.
And for those of you just joining us, Nick Rice, Hank Cinnamon, live from Arrowhead Stadium. A beautiful day between the 3-1 2019 Chiefs and the 2-2 Dallas Cowboys. A couple early interceptions from Troy Aikman hampered the Cowboy offense, but Mahomes and the Chiefs, as you can see with a drop here from Kelce, or rather, Travis Kelce, haven't quite been themselves today. And after that drop, Kansas City faces 3rd and 10. Here is Mahomes on a 4-man rush. Deep ball to Watkins. His first catch is a big one to the Dallas 35. First down, Kansas City.
Sammy Watkins, kind of a forgotten man as a wide receiver, was drafted out of Clemson. Everyone thought he was going to be a really successful player. He was for a few years, but he's kind of taken a back seat in Kansas City as he's not the number 1 receiver here.
Yeah, and really as a number 2, even during his heyday, wasn't quite what they anticipated. Did Andy Reid, Eric Bieniemy in that offense. Williams on the check down gains 6, and that's what creates such a storyline of excellence around Kelce and Hill. The fact that those guys were so productive despite the disappointment down the roster with other wide receivers. Mahomes overthrows Hill this time, but outside of him, you had DeMarcus Robinson there, number 14, Sammy Watkins, and Mecole Hardman. Those are the other wideouts, and none of them really popped off the page. Despite that, they overcame the deficiencies at wideout and won Super Bowl 54. There is Hardman with his first catch of the game, 15 yards and a first down.
Yes, that's what happens when you have a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes and such a master of his craft, and Andy Reid at constructing plays for him, really adapting to this 21st century offense, which includes a lot of the concepts that Mahomes played in college.
Dallas, man by committee in the secondary, is having a tough time slowing down these Chiefs on offense. And with the first down of the red zone, Mahomes nearly is picked off here, right out of the hands of a very talented linebacker in Ken Norton. He wasn't given a Pro Bowl nod in 1992, but was very much a Pro Bowl caliber player in that Super Bowl season. Second down and 10. They'll run it inside with Williams, who gallops to the 10, and down he goes at the 7-yard line. Brown makes the stop.
You really got to watch out for those inside passes where the linebackers are just lurking. They could possibly intercept a pass like that and ruin a really good drive that you've got.
Just as Norton nearly did earlier in this drive. They'll run it with Williams, and the Cowboys were ready for it. Hall of Fame linebacker Charles Haley ends the Kansas City drive. Harrison Butker for the 25-yard field goal. A good hold from Matt Moore, and the kick is good.
It is good to get points after a drive, but kind of disappointing when you had a 3rd and 2 and were unable to capitalize. I know Dallas has a really good defense, but you definitely have to get it started in that situation, coming up with something better than what they just did.
Well, led by Norv Turner and Jimmy Johnson, the Cowboys have got to come up with something. 76 yards away from the end zone with 2:59 to go. Who knows if this is their final drive of the game? Not Emmitt Smith. This is Richards for a short gain. Reggie Ragland, the young linebacker out of Alabama, is in on his second stop for the Chiefs. Another run. Richards to the 30. Who needs Emmitt Smith? Here's Richards, Hank, and it looks like he's at least going to come close to the first down.
Yeah, the chain gang comes out. Let's see if he's got it. And the referee, he's not using a note card in this situation. He's definitely signaling first down, and we can all see it from up here.
Well, that was an interesting decision for the Cowboys to give Smith a rest to begin this drive. And now with two tight ends, Richards gets the call again. I mean, Smith is just watching this drive and his backup carry the ball. A 3-yard gain this time, maybe 4.
I think Jimmy Johnson's just guessing he might need Emmitt Smith on the other side of the field, so why not just give him a break?
Aikman goes deep, and Martin makes the catch, but a flag is down. Let's check out who this is on. Kendall Fuller, who had the pick 6 to get the scoring started today. Well, that is interference. It doesn't do much as Martin made the catch anyways, but that is a big penalty as it stops the clock. Dallas at midfield with just over 2 minutes to go brings in Richards again, and he picks up the first down on a gain of about 13. 32 yards on the day for Richards.
And we still hadn't seen Emmitt Smith up until then. Seems like they got the second string running back on a bell cow, and he's just going up for the first down. Kind of a weird move there by the right tackle. Kind of glitched out.
Well, even he's amazed that Kervin Richards has been as big of a part of the offense as this. Ward makes the stop of Harper here on a gain of 6, and Dallas is on the move. This drive is chewed up about 70 seconds. A big one, too, for Dallas. Irvin with a circus catch. Who needs Smith when you've got this guy downfield? It's a gain of 20, and the Cowboys run the no huddle here with just over a minute and a half to go. A first down pass that's nearly picked off.
That was the strong hands that Emmitt Smith, or that was the strong hands that Michael Irvin needed on that last drive. Unable to catch it, but he caught it there.
Incredible catch, and here comes Alfredo Roberts and the Cowboys. Touchdown, Dallas, and extra points needed to tie us at 17. The kick from Elliott ties the ball game. Back and forth from Kansas City, 17-17 between the Chiefs and the Cowboys, the triplets against the Legion of Zoom. Hardman from the end zone with the flag down is run out of bounds at the 30. A solid return, but here comes the penalty, and this will bring it back. A hold on Kendall Fuller. Yet again, a penalty flag on the young corner, Fuller.
You never like to see a penalty like that on a kick return, especially if you get a lot of yardage. But it's a killer nonetheless, and you got to live with it.
And this is the sort, as we have a penalty to back up the Chiefs further if that Fuller infraction wasn't enough. So Kansas City very much capable of scoring in a situation like this, Hank. And they've got 3 timeouts too. 1 minute and 22 seconds left, an eternity for Mahomes.
Yeah, but how do you false start at home? That doesn't make much sense to me at all when the crowd is completely quiet.
Well, it looks like Kansas City's just not quite themselves today as Mahomes is incomplete. In fact, not just the false start, but overall, this doesn't look like the team that scored over 28 a game in 2019.
Didn't look like the team that scored like 38 points against the Eagles either. Seems like they kind of blew it after that, winning that game.
Yeah, Kansas City established a 3-0 start, and to cap off that 3-game winning streak was a massive victory over the Super Bowl 52 champion Eagles of 2017. Andy Reid burns a timeout, and this team just looks absolutely out of sorts right now. And on 3rd and 16, it almost seems like a foregone conclusion they're going to punt this one away here. Let's see what sort of play call they have on 3rd and 16. They'll run it with the backup. Here's McCoy. A flag is down. This might be a hold again, Hank. Here's the official call.
I mean, I can't even see why you called a timeout there. You would think that you would want to bleed as much time off the clock as you would need to get a punt off, especially if you were just going to run. Doesn't seem like a smart idea by Andy Reid. It seems like inside 2 minutes, he's just not, something's not clicking in his mind right here.
Yeah, that was a drive that you just want to put in the trash can and throw that tape away and move on. And for Kansas City, that disastrous drive gives the Cowboys a great opportunity here late in the game. A blitz, and Irvin beats it. Big pass downfield to Michael Irvin, and he's well over 100 yards now. Shoved out by Ward. What a performance by Irvin. And now the Cowboys are in position for the late lead.
Yeah, it seems like the mistakes that Andy Reid is making is helping out the Cowboys. Let's see if they're able to capitalize here, which they've been doing this whole half.
Yeah, they're not quite field goal range yet. Here's Richards, who coughs up the football, and Juan Thornhill recovers. He gets by Aikman, and Thornhill's going to score. No flags on the field for Kansas City. It's a Chiefs touchdown to take the lead. Huge mistake from Emmitt Smith's backup. He had basically been benched for the fourth quarter for some reason, and Richards makes a massive mistake.
We were praising Richards in this game on those other scoring drives, but I guess his inexperience cost him to cough the ball up, and it seems like the Dallas Cowboys, they seem to be getting to the cusp of the 40-yard line of the Chiefs, but then they shoot themselves in the foot in some fashion to cause the Chiefs to get more points.
Yeah, and it seems like both of these coaches, too, Hank, are almost outsmarting themselves in a certain degree. Alvin Harper wide open for the Cowboys, and how about this? 73 yards for the touchdown as the Cowboys come out off of the fumble with a deep ball that almost was as if the Chiefs weren't expecting it. And the Cowboys, all they need is an extra point to tie the game. Timeout, Kansas City.
I would say more like they got too excited when they scored that touchdown and forgot that they had to go back on the field and play defense.
What a wild sequence of events, from a fumble from Richards to an absolute gaffe from that Kansas City defense. Steve Spagnuolo, a great coordinator in his own right, but that was, I mean, it almost was as if they were playing pitch and catch out there with Aikman and Harper. And now Kansas City, you mentioned it, capable of scoring in a spot like this, but they're going to need a bit of a miracle against this talented Dallas defense. We'll see if they've got it here on a first down. Mahomes is hit as he throws. There's Hill, a good idea to target him, but the Chiefs are not going to use a timeout here. No huddle to 3-2, and it looks like we're set for overtime. Mahomes with the final play with one timeout they won't use. Mahomes is hit as he throws, and we're going to overtime. It's 24 apiece. One of the craziest finishes of the fourth quarter all year. 24-24.
I don't know why Andy Reid keeps that timeout in his back pocket. It's not like he can take it with him to overtime. Why not use it and use Patrick Mahomes' arm to throw a deep pass? He could definitely make the end zone or somewhere close into that vicinity.
Well, it certainly looks like an early regular season game. That was kind of hard to watch. Both of these coaching staffs have made decisions that I'm sure they'd love to forget about. Damian Williams picks up 4 on the inside run.
Yeah, it's almost like, again, like you said, they're playing 4D chess and they're not making the right decisions. They're just making the decisions that it's their gut talking, and their gut is not working, especially in the case of Andy Reid.
Yeah, maybe it sounds good late in the meeting, but in those situations, absolutely stuff you'd love to forget about. But Kansas City here, with the Madden 10 overtime rules, as they're short of the first down, and they've got an opportunity to win with just a field goal. It's the next score wins, no matter where you are in overtime. A great opportunity for the Chiefs here. The Cowboys, meanwhile, a stop, and you give the ball back to the triplets. On third down, they're going to throw it with inches to go. Mahomes finds Watkins for the first down. Now a flag has been thrown to the area of holding. Oh my goodness, it's going to come all back.
That's a situation where, again, you're at 2nd and 1. All you have to do is plunge the ball in the run, maybe a quarterback sneak, a little tush-push to Patrick Mahomes. I know they want to ban that, but that's all you got to do.
Yet in this game. Well, on 3rd and 10, they're going to come out throwing. Here is Mahomes with plenty of time, and he's going deep to Williams, who makes the catch, picks up 21 and the first down. That was a case, Hank, of the Cowboys just having no pass rush to Mahomes, and he carves them up as a result.
Yeah, you got a 3rd and long, and you're only rushing 3 guys. That doesn't really make much sense in my mind, especially when you got a good pass rush of your own.
And it certainly backfires against Dallas. A minute gone by in overtime. A wild finish to regulation put us in this spot. Chiefs won the toss. All they need is a field goal to win the game. Here's Williams out of the backfield, and he picks up another first down. That is his 6th reception, and another case in point of him being a very good receiving back, and he moves the chains for Kansas City. Mahomes on a quick drop. Flips it to the left, this time for McCoy, and he picks up another first down. Mahomes is carving up this defense right now.
One thing I'm glad to see from LaShawn McCoy is he doesn't seem to be holding that ball like a loaf of bread like he did all his time starting as running back for the Eagles, Bills, and Chiefs. Good thing he's protecting the ball. He knows the situation.
He signed a one-year deal with Kansas City to fortify that running game, and he was very good throughout that Super Bowl run. They'll give it to him on the right side. McCoy to the 10, to the 5. McCoy dives and is in for the touchdown. No flags on the field. The Chiefs walk it off in overtime with a big run from McCoy. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to win the game.
And Shady McCoy, let's do that river dance. Let's see some of those skills that you've learned.
What a football game, Hank. And the Chiefs win it 30-24.